Hello YouTube, back with the next BattleBots review. Today we're reviewing episode 13 actually, which is basically the finals of the main tournament that was shown on TV. So we had Deblo versus Hazard, Vlad versus Voltark, and Minion versus Dual. 2 out of 3 were at least relatively action-packed. The third one, not so much. That's mostly because one was working and the other one was not. And also get into Hazard versus Deblo. These were relatively, 2 out of 3 were also relatively quick, as it turns out. Hazard versus Deblo was kind of looking like Hazard was on the ropes for at least a little bit. I don't know how much damage was being done, maybe a little bit. The weapon was, didn't really seem to affect the weapon all that much. Although Deblo was on the attack right away. If he had kept that going, he probably could have won the fight and taken home the championship. But Hazard got his chance to get his weapon up to speed, and when you let your opponent get up to speed, you end up letting him, dish out some damage, and he managed to get Deblo's battery, side of the batteries are, and killed him right on that one hit. He also came at the wrong angle to get at Hazard too, because he tried to, pull away. But I guess when you expose, I think both sides of Deblo have electronics, so regardless of which side Hazard hit, it probably would have been fatal in terms of impact. But that shows even back then Hazard's overall weapon, even though it kept breaking basically every fight, was powerful enough to get KOs, although it was a lot less likely, just obviously because of being so as underwhelming as it was. But then we move on to Vlad and Voltark, which was nowhere near as damaging, because obviously neither robot is really capable of causing much in the way of damage, but it was the first time that Vlad, at least in the Comedy Central series, flips Voltark over. But it happened, Vlad had previously won, in Las Vegas, 1999, so it was not much different. Basically the same result. Although Vlad got kind of stuck on top of Voltark, aka Voltronics, the same. They just had to rename because of the copyright from a lighting company. So it ended up being, I guess, I don't know if any of us would necessarily expected it. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I know I don't remember anything about it. I mostly have more memories of season 2, but it's a good fight. One never knows how exactly it's going to go. After all, Vlad's first match with Tazbot way back in the earlier episodes, no one would have anticipated Tazbot would actually have the lead in that fight. But he did. Vlad was not really getting its act together at that point. And obviously Voltark is quite low to the ground too, so it's not exactly all that easy for a bot to get underneath your opponent. Although Vlad had the forks, so that was a definite help for that situation. And then we got Minion versus Dual, which, it was pretty one-sided. It was about as one-sided as you could possibly get, because Dual was not really working. They were suffering pretty badly, I think, from their last fight with Ronan. Which is, although oddly enough, they were not, they were hurting. So, either that or there was another fight that we didn't get to see on TV, but you could tell they were hurting because the treads were all torn up, the pneumatic spike, the whole mechanism seemed to be just basically falling apart almost out of the gates. It was just getting worse. And they were in such bad shape, they actually attached a weapon that was probably not going to do anything. It was almost like Minion's old weapon system was attached, or something similar, because it looked a lot like Minion's old, rescue saw and all that. But it didn't help. It came off pretty much right out of the gates. Right when they went up and over Minion's wedge, that was it, and they didn't really have a chance after that, except for some freak knockout where Minion starts smoking, or gets high-centered on something, or blows out all his tires, but that's incredibly unlikely at that point. Christian Carberg is a great driver, and obviously Minion had the advantage all around, even though it didn't have its own weapon. Its own primary weapon was taken out against Grey Matter and never really recovered. I guess they never had any spares, but they didn't need it. they won the fight just by being a wedge. I mean, a powerful, fast wedge. It was very maneuverable and didn't really need to do very much against Duo. I mean, they just kind of shoved it around, took it wherever they needed to take it. And Duo was probably not too far off from being knocked out. But it was an okay fight. I mean, it was usually expect at this point that the best bots are going in, but sometimes it doesn't happen. I mean, after all, we had Backlash and Alpha Raptor, but that fight was actually a little more destructive. His Backlash was totally ripping Alpha Raptor apart. So it was a little more enjoyable. But this fight, I guess there was a little bit of destruction in it, but it was kind of self-inflicted because it was already Duo was already crippled from the start. So overall, not a bad championship. I mean, at least we got to see, who ended up becoming champion. It was going to be probably a new champion regardless. Although Vlad and Minion kind of retained themselves afterwards. We already had Backlash an episode or two ago as a whole. So, yeah, that's my review on BattleBots Season 1.0, Episode 13. Thanks for watching.